Welcome to our Conscious Leaders Circle, where we meet once a month to support each other through these epic and changing times to become more grounded, energized, and focused so you can live a centered, connected, and conscious life. Today, we have an amazing guest speaker, Justin Martinez, who is going to talk about Shungite. And this is the first of two Conscious Leader Circles where we're going to talk about Shungite and the healing powers of Shungite, because there's so much to share and learn and how we can really use it in our daily lives. And my experience, I got introduced to Shungite over 10 years ago, and I have been using Shungite in many ways in my life. I have a Shungite pendant that I always wear, and I put Shungite in my horse's drinking water. I had put Shungite in the boot of one of my horses that had special needs. And I've been told to put Shungite on the electric fence chargers of our farm. I have a Shungite coated ball in the cement floor of our barn when we were renovating. And when I was injured and had a broken arm, I put Shungite on my cast. And it was literally like receiving Reiki. I could feel the frequency from the Shungite going through my arm, through the cast. So I love Shungite, and I keep wanting to learn more and more about Shungite. And Justin is also going to share his story about his own miraculous, literally miraculous recovery. And Shungite was a part of that. So I'm so excited to introduce Justin Martinez. Take it away, Justin. Unmute, Justin.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, Lydia. Yeah, where do I begin? So I'm a believer in the power of Shungite, right? Shungite and its ability to provide healing. I'm not sure if I should start off with my story or why I use Shungite. It kind of goes hand in hand. I got introduced to Shungite back in 2017, 2018. And I started incorporating it in my life. My life, I was just brand new to maybe it could have been 2018. Structuring water and what my body started doing as I started drinking structured water and becoming more aware. And so I noticed some significant changes with, things that were happening within my life at the time. And segue, so I was using it. That's the first point. I was using Shungite, and I was a believer in it. And I befriended the co-author of Shungite Reality. His name is Derek Condit, and his Nancy Hopkins is the author of a Shungite Reality book. And so, because I was already naturally drawn to the mineral or to the meteorite, and Derek was really well versed in the Shungite, and not to mention he's very energy sensitive. So I was learning from someone who is like a master teacher, so to speak, and it was in line with his several of his modalities that he works with. Right, he doesn't just have one. So I got to learn, kind of firsthand. He would hold classes, and I got to learn how to use Shungite, how to use it within the different modalities. And yeah, I got a firsthand, front row kind of learning with Shungite. So I'm a believer in it, and literally, I don't think I've drank water that hasn't been structured with Shungite for a couple of my stay in the hospital, but I always have it, always have Shungite structured water. And I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But fast forward to 2022, I was asked by a friend who had MS or has MS, and who was a master certified ship captain, but he had MS, and he's like, Justin, I need some help. I bought this vessel up in the Aleutian Islands, and I need to bring it down to Wrangell, Alaska. So I was going to kind of a long jaunt, and it's his boat, is his vessel, 55-foot salmon seiner, and he says, you want to join me, and I need your help. And it was crazy. It was a crazy idea, but I love the guy, and I said, why not? What an adventure to be able to see Alaska in in such a untethered manner, right? And so I went on that adventure, and about 2 weeks before the adventure ended, my adventure ended in a sense that I ended up falling ill to sepsis. I got an infection, and it ravaged my body, and I ended up being life flighted from Valdez, Alaska to Anchorage, Alaska. Got really, really close to the edge. They say, wasn't supposed to make it there, and I survived. And owe it to Shungite. Derek was sending me energy. Well, if it, to talk about sepsis a little bit, it is one of the numbers, like one of the leading, has one of the highest mortality rates, especially if you end up with septic shock. Usually you don't survive 30 days if you've been admitted to 30 intensive care. And I certainly fit that, yeah, I was there. I spent 2 weeks in the intensive care up in Alaska. So what sepsis had done, it ravaged my body, all my organs in my body, and trying to rebuild, like was after every ounce of energy, that I had left. I didn't have anything in my reserves, and so I took to seeking the healing path. I knew that I was called to focus on my spiritual healing, right? Energetic healing first, before I focused on my physical healing, and to rest. And so I did that, and I had a really good network of friends that took me to see alternative healers, energy workers that, I was pretty dedicated for 3 months to seeing, every week, one or two, working with me, had some amazing experiences. Okay. Well, I got called to a call to visit Kauai to heal. Kauai has a, significant energetic portals on the planet, and gateway to Lemuria. And so December of 2023, I flew to, 22, I flew to Kauai, and I thought I was going to be sitting in the sand healing, and, it was a great place for it. But upon arrival, my right leg swelled up, and I went to the hospital, and the hospital said, they ran it, did a scan. Anyhow, long and short of it is, they told me that was fine. I didn't have an infection, and I didn't have blood clots. Okay, two things I was worried about. They're saying that I was good, so I continued my staycation, so to speak, for another month. Well, the problem is that during that month's period of time, the infection didn't go away. It actually was wreaking havoc on my body, and so much so that a month later, in January, I went back to that same hospital, and I said, "Hey, something's not right. Now not only is this leg swollen, this leg's swollen." Well, they, long and the short of it, I ended up getting flown from Kauai to Honolulu for emergency blood clot surgery, and then as a result of the infection, I ended up having to spend 5 months in the hospital, 8 surgeries, including open heart. To
Wow.
yeah, it was the most. It was like crazy in terms of. I mean, I tested every like spiritual, physical, emotional, all of it. Like literally, I was tested, and the medical teams, because I had literally almost every team in the hospital, other than the burn unit. I didn't see the burn unit, but everybody else I pretty much saw, and they conferred, and they said that my odds at survival were 1 billion to 1. I mean, it's like, yeah, it was pretty insane. Now they didn't tell me that until after, like totally after they thought, I was starting to mend. But I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I probably would have gave up. But it was amazing to see them. There was a shift. That's what I can say. Is there was a shift, and there was a moment when I could tell that they weren't expecting me to live, and and I had at that point I had surrendered. I had to make peace with, gosh, this is how I'm going to go out. It's kind of, it was a heck of an experience to live through. When you completely surrender and just, I said to I was thinking, well, at least I would have preferred to go, at least go away, fall asleep underneath a coconut tree or something on the beach. But that wasn't, it was in a hospital. And the surprising thing was that I was given a message, a female voice from I didn't see her, but I felt the presence, and it was she told me that she said your time, um, it's not time to go yet. You have more work to do, and what if it's better than you imagined, right? Because I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm tapping out. She said, what if it's better than you imagined? And she says, I want you to remember your promise. And so I remember that, her saying that, and the promise was that I pulled all the doctors in before I let them work on me, especially the open heart. And I said, hey, before you do this, I want you guys to know that I won't give up unless if you don't give up. And I'm putting my life in your hands. Now you're responsible for my life, right? So I won't give up. Just do what you can until I'm truly gone. But until I'm truly gone, I won't give up. And so that was pretty powerful that all of that happened. And I was released from the hospital. I survived the experience, the 8 surgeries. It was pretty, I had hair down to my legs. Yeah, it was crazy. However, when I was released, I had to learn to rewalk. I had to learn to all of it. I wasn't strong enough to fly back out. I was in Hawaii. I was on an island. It was, everything is 3 times as not affordable. Let's just say it was out of my budget. And by the grace of God, I was accepted in this little healing, kind of like a convalescent center, or what do you call it? A rehabilitation a family that houses, is already the registered nurses housing people. They let me stay with them for
Hey,
a month.
I found this on the web for its already directioners. Check it out.
Does that mean?
Rose, do you mind muting? We got some interference. Yeah. Okay, let's carry on.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Things happen.
yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
mute.
So are we good? Okay. Yeah. So anyhow, long and short of it is I spent a month gathering enough strength using, started back on the regimen of using Shungite to structure my water. And I started building enough strength to be able to fly out and land in Washington, staying where my residence is for now, right? But the odds still weren't really great. I survived, but my body's gone through so much trauma that they weren't sure how long. I mean, sincerely, and so I didn't know what else to do other than turn to the the have to be supportive of what the medical, Western medicine is doing for me, right? That's part of the uh, part of my healing journey is that I'm relying on some of it, but then I also supplement that with non-invasive support stuff that I can do on my own. And Shungite has been a huge part of that as kind of like just the baseline structure, from a structure like the structure water. I know that it has the ability to, well, it moves energy. It moves energy and allows for your body to heal. So, I'm a little, I don't want to say go overboard, but I kind of do. I have the powders and I have the pads and I rub it on my wounds, because literally I had, from my both legs cut into, have the arteries replaced, from my stomach up above my groin all the way to my heart, zipped open. So, I have to make sure that I get full coverage, right? And then as I work with that, I also been working with other energy workers to help release the trauma. So releasing the trauma so that my body can actually heal properly. And so in a nutshell, there's a lot there. I have a trusted source of Shungite providers, which is the link that I shared with Lydia. Derek Condon and Mystical Wares. They've created a fantastic PDF for frequently asked questions. Anything you want to learn about Shungite is there. There's also a YouTube video, I think it's under Mystical Wares. That's audio version, so you can listen to it. If you're to learn more about it. So I highly recommend checking those out. I'm sorry I got sidetracked. I'm not used to talking in this format, but I get all jumbled. But so I guess sidetracked. Sorry about that.
Well, that was fantastic, Justin. And wow, what a phenomenal experience and story. We're going to have to do a movie about you. And,
Maybe.
yeah. And we could talk a lot about many things that come up in your journey. But in terms of Shungite, since this is
Yes.
fun, of our two conscious leader circles on Shungite. Can you just take a step back and explain like what is Shungite? And
Yep.
it comes from like the best source, it's from Russia, and it's basically a mineral, like a crystal type of stuff.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I got ahead of myself.
That's okay. No, your story was phenomenal. It was great to start with that because you've experienced it. As I was saying, I put Shungite in my water, in my kukicha tea, and sometimes I forget and then I put it in, and I actually forgot why. I forgot that it structures water. We need
Yeah.
to be reminded of all these things. And what is structured water anyways? What is a
Right.
fullerene or whatever? And if you can speak to a little bit about some of the introductory, like what is Shungite, and what are the most basic healing properties to get started on our
Yeah, sorry about that. I got caught up in you know how it is. You get caught up in your own little story. Well, what Shungite, it actually is only comes from Karelia, Russia, to be called true Shungite, and it's one of the oldest building blocks of the universe, right? And I think they read it to be over 2 billion years old, right? And it's from a meteorite found in Karelia, Russia, and that's why it was so significant. It's like so important to find a trusted source because there's a lot of disingenuous individuals selling not real Shungite, under the guise because it's a carbon-based mineral or a meteorite. So the what they found is that the energy that exudes out of the Shungite itself is a molecule that is called a fullerene, a C60 molecule, and there's three scientists back in, I think it was 1985, 1986, that went in and isolated the molecule, found out that what it is it has a shape of a truncated icosahedron. So it's basically a soccer ball, right? If you look at a soccer ball, it consists of 12 pentagons and 20 hexagons, and so just the outside shape looks like a soccer ball. But what it does is constantly in motion, and because of that energy, they found that within that shape, the water molecule fits perfectly inside it. It was designed for the water molecule. Okay, hence why I use it for structuring water, because it's designed to, the water goes inside the molecule. Well, anyhow, knowing that the three scientists that were able to isolate that and work with that energy, they won the Nobel Peace Prize and named it the Buckyball, Buckminster, based upon Buckminster Fuller's work. So it's legit, has those properties alone. Science is looking at it because earlier in history they were using it to heal the troops in Russia. They found that the molecule Shungite not only is a powerful antioxidant because it I don't want to say it borrows oxygen molecules, so it doesn't produce oxygen on its own. What it does is it borrows the oxygen molecules off of the closest atom, I guess, and uses that to constantly direct energy, right? Transmute energy. So they found that not only is it healing for water, in Russia they have rooms where you can go in and sit and actually just get hit from all sides of energy from, all the walls are coated in shungite, right? So they go there for not only to heal, ailments, but also say someone that has gone through the cancer, chemo and radiation, so that it's able to keep that energy flowing at a high dose. They took a step further, and they know that since it does really well with working with moving energy on that level, they also started producing like suits when like Fukushima went off. The hazmat suits were sprayed with the shungite as a another added layer of protection, let's just say, from the harmful rays of the radiation. So it's becoming a kind of like a buzz, like a buzz mineral, like something to have, because in addition to all of that, we're now being inundated with, or we haven't been inundated with, what they call dirty electricity, and high amount of electromagnetic frequencies that are emitted from cell phones and emitted from Wi-Fi routers, cell towers. We know, we hear, those of us that are aware, we've known this for a long time, that all that technology, as good as it is to utilize as a tool, it has repercussions for using it. They know that Wi-Fi signals, could cause their cancer, their what do they call it? Cancer causing. Cell phones also, they have dubbed certain forms of cancer, they dubbed it the cell phone cancer, right? It's usually in the temple area. So they know this, but they just try to hide it. They try to say, I don't know. I don't think they address it. And so my goal in using the shungite is not only to armor myself, because I'm not going to get the armor from the manufacturers. They're not worried about the damage that is being done. They're just worried about sales. So my awareness is to focus on how can I armor myself, right? How can I armor myself? And shungite is a tool that I use. They have to armor myself. Now, they make, like Derek's store makes little stickers that help your phone, help protect your, you can put on your phone, and you don't even have to apply the sticker. You can just, now that we have cell phone cases, you can use the sticker, keep it intact. You don't have to put the peely stuff on it, the sticky stuff on the phone, but just keep it intact and slip it between your phone and your case. And that way, if you have to ever upgrade a phone or whatever, you can just take it out and use it for the next one. Shungite. So from a crystal shop owner, you don't have to replace shungite. That's the cool thing. So as a consumer, it's not one of those minerals that you need to think about replacing every 2 months or year, unless you get more stuff, right? Or you want to protect your area more. Shungite doesn't have to be cleaned. It's not one of those crystals that has to be cleaned. It doesn't have to, you don't have to clear it in the moonlight, or in the sunlight, or ground it. Yeah, it's always moving energy. So actually, it's a great stone to have for clearing other crystals, right? Other energy tools. So anyhow, knowing that they've Mystical Wares, the link that I shared with Lydia, provides stickers that you can use for your phones, for your Wi-Fi routers. They've taken it up a notch because they found that silver in conjunction with the Shungite enhances the protection, let's just say the armoring abilities. And so Derek has created a process where he tumbles about 100 bars of silver, or little 1 ounce bars. Maybe it might be more than 100, but in a hexagonal shaped tumbler. Okay, so think of same shape that is correlated to the buckyball and beehives, right? That resonant frequency. So tumbles the stones, Shungite, picks the Shungite, tumbles it within the silver, and the silver migrates to the stone. So there's actually silver, the molecules of the silver migrate to the Shungite, and then after the process of tumbling for 2 to 3 days, they come up with a silver saturated Shungite. Okay, now silver saturated Shungite is basically Shungite on steroids. It has the it's highly, offers high protection, and is a good makes your normal energy Shungite energy tool even more effective. And so what they've done is they have now started knowing that Wi-Fi signal, that it seems like the powers that be are making the tools that we use more powerful in a sense of frequency that they're using. The amount of frequency, the amount of energy is like turning up, and so Derek has found that they needed to strengthen, if you can say that, and silver is a very complementary with Shungite. So highly recommend the silver saturated Shungite. He makes the stickers that have the silver saturated Shungite, and also they've got into scalar energy. So they have stickers that have silver and scalar energy to keep the energy moving.
Scalar energy.
So it's well, now we're starting to enter the quantum healing realm, right? And so
right now, and then we'll just
yeah. Well, no, it's great. It's great. Well, that's what it is. Scalar energy works off of photonic light, right? It's like photonic light healing, and so you're able to manipulate the photonic light to send healing anywhere instantaneously. And anyhow, so he's really big into that, in terms of it's a remembered technology, right? They didn't invent it, it's remembered technology, but it is something that can be administered without any side effects that are negative, right? Adverse effects, because it's light healing, but it's done it's done in conjunction with energy tools like this, and it's specific frequencies and light code. They have these little energy machines. I think it's called the Spooky 2 is one of them, that enables a person to do that. It is send specific frequencies of light to the individual for rapid healing. And I'm receiving them like on a weekly basis. And all of you guys, especially if they're in the community, the healers, or have a loved one that needs extra support, on that Mystical Wares site, there's in the top right hand corner, if you log in or go to the website, hit the menu tab, scroll down, and you'll see scalar energy. Derek gifts, right, to the collective free scalar energy sessions every Friday So you have to go in there like the week of, or right for that coming Friday, and he gives the community, like this last one was gut support, right? Frequency that helps your gut, right? And there most your gut's like the third brain, and if you unhealthy gut, you have problems all over your vessel. So he got, I think he's been toggling between gut support one week, and then he does full immune system support the following week, right? So anyhow, check it out. It's free. I would recommend it to everybody. I have friends that have are recovering from their battle with cancer. It's a great energetic free tool that you just add them to the list. And yeah, the great thing about scalar energy is that you don't. It's kind of, you just have to write the name down, picture. He sends the picture who the individual is, and it sends the energy that is specific to your individual, your vibration. So it's really, really cool. I highly recommend it, and it's free. Yeah. Anyhow.
Well, I'm loving all of this because I have phenomenal experiences with both Shungite and photon lights, like photobiomodulation light therapy, and of course Reiki. I've been doing Reiki for over 30 years. And as I mentioned, when my arm was broken, we always think about terminology. When I broke my arm, well, I didn't break my arm when my arm was injured. And I had the cast on. The first thing when I was in the hospital, I asked to bring to me was my Shungite ball and my red light therapy, and I used them together. And then when I felt a little bit stronger, I started giving myself the Reiki, and I could feel the energy go through the cast into the bone, into the tissue. And it was literally like electrical currents and like little fireworks. It's like my whole arm was coming back to life. So with the long distance, a hands-on Reiki, but the long distance healing, and with the photon light therapy and the Shungite, just those three things. I also took colloidal silver. So I'm loving what you're saying about the silver enhanced Shungite. I don't have that. So now I'm all excited. I want to get that. What about, do you have any experience or insight of putting Shungite in your colloidal silver water?
No, I know Derek makes so I don't personally have experience in that, but I use colloidal silver all the time, and I'm sure that because it's always on, Shungite's always on me. I wear it all the time. I have the bracelets and have the pouch around my neck, and I use colloidal silver because I rub my wounds with it.
Yeah.
Right. And I also use a powder, that they make a granule powder, a Shungite powder. So I use that. I know that Derek uses structured water in making his colloidal silver, and he structured it using Shungite. So I think that
I'm sure it's amazing together. I was just curious.
yeah.
So does anybody have any questions for Justin? It's 11:52, and Rose.
Okay,
I
Justin,
wrote.
hi. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, all of this is amazing. And bravo to you for undertaking that hero's journey and
Right.
sharing all this with us. But I had a really challenging year in the past year from long hauler COVID, or maybe something else. But anyway, really low energy. But I've had low energy since 2002. Since this accident I was in, energy levels were just never coming up. So a couple of months ago, I started taking C60 in olive oil,
Yeah.
and it's been a difference of night and day. I can't believe it. So I'm wondering if, but it's very expensive. So I'm wondering, and I used to put shungite in my drinking water years ago, and I lost the crystals. They kind of went down the drain one time, and I didn't replace them, and then I forgot about it. But I'm wondering, is that could that be a substitute for the C60 in olive oil, or can you just take shungite crystals and drop them in a bottle of olive oil?
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Now, I'm familiar, but I've never taken the C60 in olive oil, but I'm familiar with the company that produces it. They go about it in a little bit different form process. They make it. Um, so it's I won't say it's not healthy for you. It's healthy for you, but they're creating. It's a process that they create the C60 versus the natural C60 that's coming out of the stone. So there's a treatment a process part of the creation of that. But yes, you would putting raw shungite or shungite powder in your for skincare, for if stick a rock, one of the stones in your olive oil, the energy, keep everything moving. Yeah, so I would think that in effect, you're getting it will start structuring whatever that you're going to intake, and yeah. I mean, I think since we're primarily, as beings, our vessels are primarily made up of water, 70 to 80% of water, that we're water beings. And when you structure, a glass of water or whatever it is that you're intaking, if it has a original structure of natural state of being, the rest of our cells are going to try to copy in a sheet format that healthy version of the cell. And that's kind of how our bodies work. So yes, in a long story short, yes, that would work. And okay, for structuring your water, and drop three raw shungite nuggets in your water container, and make sure that, the only thing that really you want to make sure that it doesn't have is pyrite veins. So you don't want to use shungite that has the pyrite veins, because the pyrite ends up flaking off, and it's actually kind of can poison the water. So you want to stick with nuggets that have their pyrite free. And when Derek goes through and selects them, he selects the ones that are made for drinking water. You can use in drinking. Pyrite, the shungite with pyrite in it, are great for plants, are great for watering your plants with and whatnot, but not necessarily great for us to ingest. Yeah, so there's that. But and you know what I was going to say with as far as your healing journey's going, something that really has been brought to my awareness, and it's been like a focal point because on several communities, because we're all in this kind of adventure together, right? And there's a lot of folks that are some have made decisions to, whether you're, I don't want to use the term jabbed or not, but I'm just going to say it. The big concern is heavy metal detoxing, right? Heavy metal detoxing your system, and starting out with shungite as your baseline, that will help your body start eliminating the heavy metals that's been accumulated in there. And then you can you can stack other modalities on top of that to make it even more powerful, or more congruent to releasing those heavy metals. So that's what I would highly encourage. If you're immune system's been compromised. Now, I can speak from experience. I know mine has, right? I know this is something that I'm battling on a daily basis, and so in addition to Shungite, like I said, that's my first layer of defense. I also drink a lot of green, vibrant greens for intake for my, to feed my body. But I also, I have specific design frequencies that, like, audible frequencies that literally help your vessel eliminate, either, well, for heavy metal toxins, specifically designed frequencies to help my body release those heavy metal toxins. It's kind of like it helps your cells vibrate the toxins out. That's the easiest way to kind of explain it. But it does so on another level. But just if you think of it like something, you need a little help. Yeah, that's something that I do, and it's like effortlessly. I don't have to take anything. I don't have to, ingest anything. I don't have to just, hey, I listen to this tone for 10 minutes, boom, and that helps. But there's all, first off, I'm sorry to, that it's been such a, last couple of years has been such a drain on you, because I know what it's like. It's tough to work through that, but
it's 20 years.
20 years.
20 years since the accident. I've had really low vitality, but then with with that, it was actually a vaccine reaction. Yeah, I think. Then it got even worse. But the C60, even just taking it in olive oil, has been really helpful. And I'm wondering, with the structured water, and a lot of other things I'm doing too, like you say, we layer things, and the structured water, I'm wondering if it has as much of the C60 in it, because when you take the C60 in olive oil, there's a distinct peppery taste that shows that there's a lot of, that's the amount of C60 in it. But then I suppose you're only taking 1 tablespoon a day. So if you have the structured water with Shungite and you're sipping it all day, I guess maybe you get the quantity that way, or the power.
I'm they like Derek creates Shungite honey, where he doesn't create it, he collects it, right? Because he creates an environment for his bees to thrive, and the byproduct of the bees is the Shungite honey. And so you have a Shungite infused honey that really you can dip your fingertip in, your pinky, right? And you just get it, and that's enough to get the amount of C60 for your body, right? You don't need the olive oil is just a medium in which the C60 is traveling down. So they found that honey is a great way, and that's probably less from an out-of-pocket expense, and you don't need, like I said, you don't need to take that much. It's designed where a great amount, maybe the size of pea or grain of rice, is enough for your system. Yeah,
that's so helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Bye, Susanna. Thank you for joining us. So much information. We're just getting started. We'll have part 2 next month to further explore the healing properties of Shungite. And for anyone wanting to get started, there is a starter pack that they sell, and I got a few of them a few years ago, and I still have the raw nuggets, the powder, and the EMF devices that I put on my phone. I have Shungite fridge magnet from years ago that I got from Cosmic Reality or Shungite Reality. I guess now it's Mystical Wares. And they're amazing. And it's it's so affordable. If you get, I don't know how much the starter pack is, but that starter pack, bye Richard, bye. That starter pack you can do a lot with the starter pack at a very, very low price. And as Justin was saying, I didn't know that Shungite lasts forever. So it's a one-time purchase. And when like at the farm, I put the Shungite in little burlap bags and the horses' drinking water troughs because the burlap helps the water flow through and it doesn't contaminate. And when helpers are cleaning out the water troughs, they always dump out the Shungite. and this is like, save the Shungite, like save the Shungite. So I can find it better if they dump it out. But I'm still using the same Shungite nuggets from the starter packs I got years ago. So the cost is almost nothing for what you're
Correct.
almost like no cost, like no financial cost whatsoever, considering all that you get in those starter packs. So are the starter packs available on the link, the Mystical Wares link?
Yeah.
And so for people who are listening, when I posted on the podcast, can you spell out the link where you can get the starter pack?
Yeah, it's called mysticalwares.com, and it's mysticalwares.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it's a really user-friendly site. I hope everybody takes advantage of it. I don't work for the company. I just let you know I don't. I'm not selling. I have no affiliation. Because kind of like you, Lydia. I got the stones years ago, right? And I'm still using. And of course I'll acquire one or two new pieces over the years, right? Or they're gifted. But I just know that I know how they work, and the fact that I'm still using stones and have gifted out so many to help others, just become aware of it. Yeah, it's doing good work for almost nothing, right? Investment.
Yeah, the Shungite is a gift to humanity.
Absolutely.
And like anything that comes in our lives, sometimes we're busy, we forget about it, we don't use it fully. And then when I was invited to the Facebook Messenger group where we met for Shungite Reality, I was like, yeah, like I just totally forgot it structures water. I forgot because I keep thinking about EMFs, right? And protecting from EMFs. And it's like, well, that's of course I've been putting it in my tea, in my water, but then I used to go like months and forget and then put it back and I just had to get refocused on remembering how amazing Shungite is and to keep using it in every area of my life. I have it hanging on my Wi-Fi router. And I remember when I started using Shungite, somebody told me, I forget who it was, that if I put it on the electric fence charger of the horse's electric fences, it doesn't just minimize any fragmented or destructive energy. It actually transmutes it into a healing frequency. Can you speak to that briefly?
Well, it attenuates the electricity. I want to say that the electricity, a lot of the harmful, damaging, is the way that the current spins, the electricity spins, or the waves, and it. I want to say it turns from a counterclockwise rotation, which is sucking the energy from, like a vampire sucking it out, and it attenuates it to a positive spin. So it doesn't really, I won't say it doesn't make the electricity go away. It just reverses the spin rate, so that way it becomes beneficial energy versus harmful energy. And
Phenomenal.
and
Just in the
yeah,
chapter, it actually transmutes energy into a more balanced or helpful or healing energy. Like it's phenomenal.
it is phenomenal. Yeah, it's very, very phenomenal. And that's why I'm such a proponent, like a believer in it. I even use the, like the powder. They make the powder in just the normal, like the normal Shungite raw powder, but he also has the C60 or S4 powder. And I'll use it to like line the soles of my shoes. Right, I'll sprinkle it in there because I don't get the normal grounding that I normally would, but walking barefoot, so I'll sprinkle a little bit of the Shungite powder in the soles of my shoes.
I love it.
Socks be the layer, and I'm still, so I know that I may not be getting the full grounding, but I'm getting energy flowing through me.
And that was one of the questions I was going to ask in the starter kit. They give you a couple little pouches of powder, and maybe I just didn't follow up, but I wasn't sure how to use it because you said that you've massaged it into your wound, like into the scars, like from your wounds.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning you can sprinkle it into your shoes. How else can you use the Shungite powder that you get in the starter kit?
Well, you can mix it with like the powder, depending on what form you have. You can mix it in the paint, like in paint.
Yes. I remember that when we were renovating. I remember that's when we had I couldn't afford a solid Shungite ball at the time we were renovating.
Right. Oh, right.
A huge one that would have been really expensive, but we ended up getting a Shungite coated ball, and when we were getting out the floor of our old Homestead Bank barn and laying down new cement, I was talking to somebody about it at the time, and they said to put the Shungite ball in the cement of the foundation of the floor, so that when the horses are walking through the barn, it's constantly radiating out, like emitting the balancing frequency of the Shungite. And then I forget who we were talking to back then. That was a long time ago. But they said if we're painting, when we're renovating, to mix the Shungite powder.
Yeah. And a little goes a long way. Yeah, a little goes a long way. You don't have to use, teaspoons and teaspoons. It's just, small amounts. Because there's hundreds of thousands or millions of particles, right? And the cool thing about Shungite is that size doesn't matter, right? From the bigger the stone doesn't mean that it's going to have more power.
Oh, see, I just learned that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. A stone of this size emits about the same amount of energy as a bigger stone, right? But threes, they work in with very synchronistic with Tesla's energy, 3, 6s, and so what they found is that 3 stones, like for me, I was thinking for your horses, I would put 3 stones in each corner of the barn, whatever.
Oh, awesome.
Right? That's enough. Yeah, that's enough. You'll have energy circulating all over, and you're just talking, just 3 small little nuggets that even if you swept them up and whatever, they go away, you can always replace them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost a lot, but it's very, very effective. Yeah. So
should we have that in our house too? We could put the Shungite in the corners of our house.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of like Nancy, where you say there's never enough Shungite. Never too much. Because if you have it all around you, you keep the energy flowing, right? And you don't have to worry about stagnant energy.
What I learned so much from you today, because in Oriental medicine, in my training in macrobiotics, it's always discussed that stagnation is the enemy of healing and health. And so the fundamental principles of healing is to keep the energy flowing, the microcirculation, of
Yes.
the cells and the interconnectedness of the cells, and then the macrocirculation of the whole body, right? And of the heart pumping blood and body fluid and energy. So I'm always discussing this with clients who want to create more energy and heal. And when I work with high performing clients, you know, like CEOs and executives, you know, like we're always talking about keep your energy circulating on the micro as well as the macro level. And here I learned from you today that one of the key aspects of Shungite is it keeps energy moving. And this is so phenomenal. It is so, because you have to keep energy moving to detoxify. And
Right.
if the cells aren't strong enough to detoxify, then you get stagnation. It's like the river of like a small river at the foot of the mountain that becomes stagnant. Like it needs a way to start to circulate, to move the energy, to move the toxins out, right?
Right.
So everything you provided today was so valuable, Justin.
Well,
Your
thank you.
incredible story that will touch many lives and inspire many people. And then how you use Shungite to heal yourself, and teaching us about these incredible properties of Shungite, which I had totally forgotten about. I just remember, yeah, I have to use Shungite, but then, you know, or I'm drawn to, oh yeah, I haven't, you know, the Shungite's not in my water. I have to get back to it. But thank you so much. This has
Well,
been phenomenal and
thank you.
life-changing for so many people. And then we'll carry on next month with part 2 and build on everything that we've discussed today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Oh,
Thank
well,
you.
it's an honor and pleasure for you to be here with us today, and I'm so glad the universe brought us together, and I'm glad that I accepted the invite to the Shungite Facebook chat because that's where we met.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to end the recording, but we can stay on and chat. So thank you so much, Justin, and I look forward to part 2.